So the EU Commission Statement of Objections should be coming out anytime today, basically, if you're watching this when the videos usually post. And guess who took a little bit of a trip to talk to them before this happened? None other than Jim Ryan. A lot has been going on with this case. The FTC filed a lawsuit recently ahead of the EU announcement. So I think today, when you're watching this, is going to be a really big day. Let's go over what we know right now. So first things first, let's talk about this Jim Ryan meeting. So Sony's gaming chief met EU's Vestager on Microsoft's Activision Deal, according to a source. So this is from January 26th. Sony's gaming chief, Jim Ryan, met EU antitrust chief Marguerite Vestager on Wednesday to discuss Microsoft's $69 billion bid for Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard. A person familiar with the matter said on Thursday. The meeting came as the EU competition watchdog prepares to warn Microsoft this week about the potential anti-competitive effects on the US software giant and Xbox makers' acquisition in the biggest gaming industry deal in history. Now, in addition to Jim Ryan meeting with the EU, the FTC also had a call with the EU, and this is just based off what I read. I don't have the link handy at the moment, but basically it seems like they have filed a suit now to bring the deal to the next level for the FTC ahead of the EU call. So a little bit of, some people are saying that it's sort of strong arming the EU, but let's go over what we actually know about this current news story about Jim Ryan flying into Brussels again. Microsoft is looking to Activision to help it compete better with leaders Tencent and Sony. The latter has criticized the deal and even called for a regulatory veto. The person declined to provide details of the discussion between Ryan and Vestager. The European Commission, which is scheduled to rule on the deal by April 11th, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The US FTC has sued to block the deal, while the UK regulators have also expressed concerns. Now, according to IDIS, just somebody who's been following the case like better than anybody else, in my opinion, he basically said, okay, text. Okay, text. Let's not go crazy now. The MLEX has a brief about the meeting. Different executives from Sony met Vestager. Sony's delegation was led by Jim Ryan. Sony pressed again for a block. Same old arguments. Microsoft could withhold Call of Duty from other console platforms. Microsoft might degrade how Call of Duty works with other gaming platforms. And statement objections coming this week. It has to be tomorrow. So if those statement of objections are coming in, they have to hit tomorrow, because it's the end of the week, basically, right? And I believe that was the deadline for those. We've been saying end of the week for a while now, so I would be very surprised if we don't have something very soon. It is, I'm recording this, it's like 9 a.m. in the EU right now, so yeah. Before we go over some of the other juicy details that we have for this story, I am so close to 100,000 subscribers. We broke through the 79,000 mark, so half of you who aren't watching right now and still need to subscribe, please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell. It's so close now. We're down to 3,000. Last week we were 4,000, so it is working. Thank you so much for watching. Let's continue on. The next part was about if Microsoft gets the statement of objections tomorrow, do you think we would get media reports already by the end of the day, particularly in the US, or would it have to wait until Monday? Also, should we expect the CMA's decision next Friday or later than that? Yes, my guess is that midday. In Europe, Microsoft should already have the statement of objections, even if it comes later. Still plenty of time to get reports by the end of the day in Europe. And the US, I mean, the second I see anything on any website or Microsoft's official statement, I'll be talking about it. I also think it's quite likely that we'll have provisional findings from the CMA next week. It would fit the new administrative timetable, late January 30th, 31st, early February 1st to 3rd. One of the reasons for the extension was to get more time to respond to what the parties could say to the PF and then write the final report. So the sooner the PF are published, the better for the CMA. The PF, again, is provisional findings. Both the SO and PF statement of objections and provisional findings mean the formal opening of remedy talks, with the SO coming tomorrow. And if the CMA is willing to talk about remedies, it makes a lot of sense that the two big regulators in Europe for the case start remedy talks almost at the same time. If the CMA goes for a block, it would also make sense to publish the PF almost at the same time as the SO to avoid inconvenient scenarios where the EC and Microsoft quickly agree on remedies that could solve anti-competitive concerns, but weeks later, the CMA, under the same markets, facts, and theories, goes on a totally different direction. If they are going to block it, I think it would be better to do it almost at the same time that the EC states their concerns. My personal bet is that we'll have provisional findings on Tuesday, the 31st. So statement of objections is coming, and it does seem like imminent. Statement of objections will be addressed by Microsoft, and they will present their solutions, which are going to involve allowing Call of Duty to come out on any platform for the next 10 years. And yeah, I mean, we already kind of know that. There was one other thing that happened, and this all happened very, very quick because the FTC call happened, and then the FTC suit that I need to dig into a little bit more happened. And then all of these events are transpiring right before the statement of objections, because Microsoft's going to come up with their solutions to those statement of objections, and then we'll figure out what happens next. That's really important for the FTC case, because if Microsoft is able to resolve things in Europe and with the CMA, the chances the US judge is going to be a little bit more like, why are we talking about this? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Anyway, according to Market Screener, Microsoft said on Tuesday that they still expect the deal to close on fiscal year 2023, June 30th, which is interesting. And I see that Michael Moiseev, the lawyer leading at Whale, Gotshal and Menage, the case for Microsoft has been shortlisted for Lawyer of the Year at the Global Competition Review Awards 2023, precisely for his work advising Microsoft on the acquisition. My perception based on how you word this makes me think that their verdict will change based on what others think, i.e. they aren't thinking for themselves or doing due diligence required themselves. Yes, unfortunately, it happens with smaller regulators that lack the expertise and human and economic resources to work on some of those cases. Therefore, they use the decision from the big ones as templates. Once the big ones are done, you'll see how the rest of the decisions will be published just in a matter of 2 to 4 weeks. So you're talking about the EU and the CMA, right? Can this article be used in the investigation? Probably all the relevant parties affected already know about that. Overall thoughts and likelihood the deal goes through, very likely going through. In Europe, UK is a bit of a mystery, but I think that it will be approved there also. So Idis has experience as an attorney. He's been following this really, really closely, and he has been a great resource for information. That's all over on Reset Era. It's public. And what I'm really looking forward to, though, is figuring out what these statement of objections end up being, and figuring out what happens after that, right? One of the other, I feel like I forgot to turn on one of my lights today. I don't know why. Everything looks a little off. So I'm like, what did I forget to turn on? But anyway, just a reminder, yes, there are more Microsoft streams coming. As we announced previously, in order to dedicate the proper amount of time for a deep dive into Bethesda Game Studio Starfield, a standalone show is in the works. In addition to this, our teams are working hard and look forward to sharing even more of what is next for our fans when we return to LA for our yearly showcase this summer. So we have 2 Xbox events, one coming sooner rather than later for Starfield, and one coming around E3 time. Hey, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell. Half of you aren't subscribed. And wow, we rocketed to 97K. Now we just have to go over the last 3,000 subs, and it's going very, very fast. So hopefully you can be a part of that. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to the members for supporting. I really appreciate you. If you don't like these videos with ads, you can click that join button right down there and not watch with ads. And thank you to everybody who has done so thus far. You can join at any level, and I do that. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you for the next one. Before I go, here is the last video where we were talking about the case. So check that out and get caught up. Bye for now, everybody.